Hello all. In today's class we are going to see finite set, infinite set, concept of power set. Then we shall see countable, uncountable set, countably infinite, uncountably infinite sets. Then important thing we are going to cover is diagonalization argument. Then we shall see naive set theory and Russell's paradox. So these many contents we are going to see now. Now, finite set, as the name indicates, finite sets are sets having finite or countable number of members. Finite sets are also called as countable sets as they can be counted easily. So these are the examples where the number of elements are limited, countable. That means these are finite sets. A set of all English alphabets is also a finite set. A set of months in a year is a set of finite elements. Likewise, empty set is again a finite set. So this is what we mean by finite set. Next is infinite set. If a set is not finite, it is called as infinite set because the number of elements in that set is not countable and we cannot represent it in the roster form. Such sets are called as infinite sets. Infinite sets are also known as uncountable set. Now, set of all points in a plane, for example, set of all points in a line segment are infinite sets. Set of all positive integers, set of whole numbers, set of natural numbers, set of positive and negative integers. These are all examples of infinite sets. Next is power set of some set S is the set of all subsets possible with set S. Suppose that the example is given here, S is equal to ABC, then power set of S will have these many elements, that is phi, set containing A, set containing B, set containing C, set containing AB, set containing AC, set containing BC, and set containing ABC. These many elements are there in the power set of S. Then S, if S has n elements in it, then power set will have 2 raised to n elements. So cardinality of power set is always 2 raised to n, where n is the number of sets in the given set. Suppose S is equal to 2 elements A, B. So phi, set containing A, set containing B, and set containing AB. These many 4 elements are there in power set of S. This is what we mean by power set. Next concept is countable set. A countable set is a set with the same cardinality. Number of cardinality is nothing but number of elements in the set as some subset of the set of natural numbers. A countable set is either a finite set or countably infinite set. Whether finite or infinite, the elements of a countable set can always be counted one at a time, and although the counting may never finish, every element of the set is associated with a unique natural number. Such sets are called as countable sets. For example, set of all even numbers is example of countable set. Opposite concept is uncountable set. Uncountable set or uncountably infinite set is an infinite set that contains too many elements to be countable. The uncountability of a set is closely related to its cardinal number. A set is uncountable if its cardinal number is larger than that of the set of natural numbers. For example, set R of real numbers is example of uncountable set. Countably infinite set. A set is countably infinite if its elements can be put in one-to-one correspondence with the set of natural numbers. So this is set of natural numbers and the given set is other set Y, where one can count of the all. In other words, one can count of all elements in the set in such a way that even though the counting will take forever, you will get to any particular number in a finite amount of time. So 1 is associated with 2, 2 is associated with 4, 3 is associated with 6. Likewise, any x can be associated with 2x easily. Such type of mapping with set of natural numbers with elements of set y is possible. That's why y is called as countably. But since it is infinite in nature, this is countably infinite set. This is what we mean by countably infinite set. Some countably infinite sets examples: the set of even positive integers is E is countably infinite. E is a proper subset of n. So zeroth even number is 0, first even number is 2, second even number is 4, likewise sixth even number is 12, xth even number will be twice x, like that. Z plus, another example is Z plus is the set of positive integers is countably infinite, because again we can map it easily with the set of natural numbers. Next is uncountably infinite set. Uncountable is in contrast with countably infinite or countable set. For example, the set of real numbers in the interval 0, 1 is uncountable. There are continuum of numbers in that interval, and that is too many to be put in one-to-one correspondence with the natural numbers. For example, let us consider the two real numbers 1.1 and 1.2. If we consider these two real numbers, we cannot predict how many real numbers are there in between 1.1 and 1.2. We do not know the numbers in vertical direction, and we do not know the numbers, how many numbers are there after the decimal point. So the number becomes infinite horizontally as well. That's why this is an example of uncountably infinite set, because it cannot be mapped with the set of natural numbers. So this is the popular example of uncountably infinite set. Next is diagonalization argument. In the set theory, Cantor's diagonal argument, also called as diagonalization argument or diagonalization principle. It is published in 1891 by Greg Cantor, George Cantor as a mathematical proof. It says that there are infinite sets which cannot be put in one-to-one correspondence with the infinite set of natural numbers. It says that some infinite sets are actually bigger than the set of positive integers. Now how it is? Now this is the example for real numbers. If we put a real number like this, suppose this is the first real number 2 3 6 4 3 6 7 7. Likewise, another real number that is different than the first real number, which is differing in the second digit of the earlier real number after the decimal point is given here. Likewise, every digit after the decimal point is going to vary in a diagonal manner. So if we collect the diagonal of these numbers, then the number formed by the diagonal is 0.293233992132. Likewise, so such numbers diagonal is collected and we form a new number that can be added in the list of this number. So always you will find the new number in the diagonal. That's what Cantor's diagonalization argument is. So you will never have the number covered in this list of real numbers. That is what Cantor's diagonalization argument says. Another example of diagonalization argument is uh, again, these are binary numbers. In case of binary numbers, if we collect the diagonal and take the ones complement of this diagonal, so this 0 is converted to 1, 1 is converted to 0, 0 0 0 3 times, so that 0 0 3 times is converted to 1 1 1. So in this these are different binary numbers taken here as an example in the series of binary numbers, and we have collected the diagonal of those numbers and taken one's complement of the number, we are getting different number than the earlier considered numbers. This is again second example of diagonalization argument. So this number is not there in the already existing number. So every time you collect the diagonal of the existing numbers and take one's complement of it, you will get another new number which is not covered in the list. So you cannot map these numbers with the set of natural numbers. That's why these are uncountable sets. Next is bounded and unbounded sets. A set is called as bounded if it is in a certain sense of finite size. Conversely, a set which is not bounded is called as unbounded. A set S of real numbers is called as bounded from above if there exists some real number k such that k is greater than or equal to S for all S in S. The number k is called as an upper bound of S. If there exists some real number k such that k is less than or equal to S for all S in S, then k is called as lower bound. So the sets can have upper bound and lower bound as well. A set S is bounded if it has both upper and lower bounds. Therefore, a set of real numbers is bounded if it is contained in a finite interval. Multiset is a generalization of concept of set. It's a collection of unordered numbers where every element x can occur a finite number of times. So for example, AAB, where occurrence of a number can be repeated. Such sets are called as multiset. Then there is a naive set theory proposed by Cantor and Richard Dedekind in 1870s. It is a non-formalized theory. It uses natural language to describe the set theory. It uses words like and, or, not, for all, for some, etc. Some formalizations lead to contradiction like Russell's paradox. Let us see what is Russell's paradox. Russell's paradox says that imagine a small town where everyone needs to be shaved and define a barber as someone who shaves all those and those only who do not shave themselves. Then the question arises is who shaves the barber? The barber cannot shave himself as he only shaves those who do not shave themselves. As such, if he shaves himself, he ceases to be a barber. Definitely. If the barber does not shave himself, he needs to be shaved by a barber, and thus, as the barber, he must shave himself. But we defined a barber to be someone who only shaves those who do not shave themselves. So we reach at a point where there cannot be conclusion to the Russell's paradox. So this is what we mean by Russell's paradox. So Russell's paradox asks if S is a set of all sets which do not have themselves as a member, is S a member of itself? So this is formal definition of Russell's paradox. This is all for today's lecture. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.